All right, what is up, everybody? This is Keith Cobra, Get a Guy 231 across the DFS industry. Oh, hope everybody had a great Monday. Certainly amazing games. I'm very disappointed. I did not get a chance to watch while working, but it was fun to follow along. Obviously, the play-by-play and the DFS goodness. I do hope you all found cash. There was a ton of goals. I don't know if we should expect that again on Tuesday, but then again, that's what makes these group stages great. Let's just try our best to get on the good plays. So just a quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment, all really does help. I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. I got a lot of feedback that you all enjoyed, kind of quick and to the point yesterday. So let's jump right back into it. All right, so first game is England versus Germany. This is the big boy of the slate. I guess of the first round, just in terms of two absolute powerhouses squaring off. So we have England plus 145. I just want to make sure too, this is at Wembley, so this is a home game for England, and I'm making sure that I'm not looking at the referee. So location, London and Wembley, England at home. That could be a good or a bad thing too, if you think about it. Just the way that England has been on Southgate. Germany plus 190. From a total, we do have, again, slightly under. Both teams to score is very, very square. So kind of like a 1-1 type of games is what the odds are telling us. Let's start for England. The big thing is to see Mason Mount in. Mason Mount should be fit. I think he would immediately plug right back in. When he has been in, we've seen him on a Monopoly set pieces. Now, he played the second game with Luke Shaw, did take corners over Shaw. When Mason Mount missed, Luke Shaw took some corners. My guess is that it's Mason Mount on a Monopoly, but if all of a sudden Luke Shaw is standing over this side corner, so the outswingers, I will not be shocked whatsoever. I think Luke Shaw and Mason Mount are by far your best cash plays. There's a really good shot, too, that you're probably going to be playing one of these England forwards. Realistically, Germany has been very, very loose in the back. Matt Hummels, I'm not going to pretend to be like a savant and like been watching every bit, but that, all reports are that he's really struggling to get around. And that as well, as amazing he's been kind of ball handling out of the back, being a threat on set pieces, he's been a liability. So I really do think that there's a good shot that you see Kane or Sterling scoring a goal or being on the end of an assist. At their prices, sub 9K, forward eligible, I think that most people are going to play one of those two. God, I feel like I'm like way just over Harry Kane. I've played him way too much this tournament. I'd very well may go back to it, or you can take the discount with Raheem Sterling. I don't necessarily know if there's a rhyme or reason to it. Like, it's not like Sterling gives you like 7 or 8 crosses off the left flank. If anything, he's having to deal with Kimmich, and some cover from Genter, which, Phil, if you just go purely like matchup, Phil Foden or whoever's on the right side, God forbid it would be Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford. It seems like Southgate will probably go back to Foden. But, Robin Gosens is all offensive. So I think that's kind of the better matchup. But, we'll see. I think realistically, though, Kane or Sterling, whoever scores the goal or the assist is the right play. I can't fault you either way. I'm sure after last slate, Sterling was more popular than Kane. Sterling produced. I would expect Sterling then once again, because it seems like more people went that way, to play Sterling over Kane again, kind of again, just with how random it is, and that I do think Kane is just the better player. Kind of makes me want to go back to Kane. Let's see. I don't think there's much else on England. I think the other decisions, so like from a cash perspective, it's Mount, Shaw. I don't call you crazy to play Phil Foden, but I don't really see how you do it. Great GPP play for that reason. And probably Pickford for cash, and then, picking Sterling or Kane. England's been amazing defensively. So, and Germany, we've seen at times struggle to score goals. They struggled to break down France, and realistically, they struggled to break down Hungary or to finish against Hungary. So, I don't think you're crazy for playing Pickford. All right, that is England. Let's go to Germany. The two top cash plays, and really the only guys I think that you really consider for cash, are Kimmich and Cruz. Kimmich will be a core play for me. I just think realistically, they're probably on a set split. England has not been like conceding a ton of corners. And I I probably should check that. I guess it's just an eye test. I guess Scotland had a decent amount. Croatia definitely did not. Yeah, I don't think they've been conceding a ton. I mean, their defense is stout. The biggest concern was Cruz for me always. And I always make this excuse, even when he plays for Madrid, and it's probably false at this point, but because he's so central lying, if you don't get a lot of free kicks or corners, it really does hurt his DFS ability. But then at that point, if he's only going to take like one corner, then that's the game he gets six tackles and 4 fouls drawn. That makes me look stupid. So Cruz is always solid. Just for me, Kimmich being 1,000, well over 1,000 cheaper, I believe. Let's see what Cruz is at. Yeah, 1,300 cheaper, and he's defender eligible, and he's wide, meaning if all of a sudden it's a game that Germany only gets like 2 corners, there's a really good shot that Kimmich is going to end with more crosses than Cruz, more chances to serve up an assist being in a wide position. So I much prefer Kimmich to Cruz. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Everybody else for Germany is GPP for me, especially considering the matchup. Havertz, Moore, Gnabry. Gnabry's looked not very good as a striker, yet they're going to keep putting him there versus I think it's interesting. And this could be a terrible take, so feel free to tell me I'm an idiot. But, you know, you see Spain sticking with Morata because he's a true number 9, right? He understands the movements, understands the hold-up play, all that. And Germany's sticking with Gnabry, who's a much better player if you can get him into wide positions versus, you know, I know Timo Werner struggled like crazy during club competition, but, you know, he has for the longest time played like that number 9 position for Germany throughout most of the qualifying. And then all of a sudden, to stick Gnabry there, I think it's tough, but, you know, what do I know? I'm just a guy that plays DFS and watches way too much football. All right. I think that covers it. Gosens, I wouldn't call you crazy, but I think we saw last game. If he's not going to be on the end of headers, you know, it's not like he's going to, you know, much like Sterling, even though he's wide, it's not like he's in there to cross the ball 8 times. It's not his game. So I'm just not crazy about Germany here. I'm just not crazy about this game. It's going to be a great watch, you know, be fun for showdown, play team no goals, but yeah, for classic, I'm not going to try to get carried away. Mount, Kimmich, core plays for me. Shaw, England forward, and then if you really wanted to commit Tony Cruz for cash, on to the next one. All right, Sweden versus Ukraine. Sweden plus 140. Both teams to score is more of no than yes. So kind of leaning towards like a 1-0 Sweden scored line here with minus 187 on the under. So the bookies really do not think that this game is going to go over much at all. Emil Forsberg to me is a lock and load core play at forward. He's taking half the sets for Sweden, making him the only set taking forward. He's on PKs, has 3 goals in the tournament, has been absolutely amazing. We know how good he is for Leipzig when he gets the run. So love Forsberg. I think Isaac is really, really interesting if you don't want to go to an England forward. He's much cheaper. He's looked awesome the whole tournament. He's looking at a big move considering his performance. And look, Ukraine, despite this total, I don't think Ukraine is a defense that I fear. So, you know, if you think that Sweden is going to score, you know, there's a decent shot that it's Isaac or Isaac's involvement. So I don't mind that as a punt if you need it. Seb Larson is splitting sets with Emil Forsberg. He's sub 6K for a set taker on the biggest favorite in the slate. So I don't think that is crazy at all. I've experimented with builds. I can kind of get to him. I'm still deciding. He's like a weirdly like a deciding factor for me. It's like, for me, it's Seb Larson versus Tony Cruz. Yeah, Tony Cruz is a much better player, but is Tony Cruz really worth, you know, 1,500 more than Seb Larson? I don't know. I kind of lean towards no, which probably sounds crazy, but, you know, hey, the odds are telling us that Sweden is a better bet than Germany. So, you know, better matchup, that's for sure. Augustinsson and Lustig are fine fullbacks. Just all depends if you have the salary to do it. Nothing in the middle here. Robin Olsen, I think, will be a fairly. I think Olsen and Pickford are by far the most popular goalies. So in cash, much like Simone and Lloris took, I think, like 70 to 80% of the ownership at the goalie position today. So obviously, if you want to get different, you know, Bushcan or Neuer. All right, I think that, and then Quaison or Berg, one of the two of them should start as second striker. Neither one of them will have nearly the ownership that Isaac does, so great GPP leverage. All right, on to the Ukraine side. Sweden is a tough defense. They are really, really disciplined. So, you know, there's really only 3 plays I would say here. Yaremchuk, Yarmolenko, Malinowski. Sofa keeps thinking Sinigov is going to start. Doesn't seem like they're going to. They're going to start the I already blanking on who it was last time. It's the little midfielder, Shaparenko, I believe his name is. That's been starting. You know, we'll take like one corner, looks super cheap. You might want to play him, maybe you shouldn't. That guy. Malinowski will take the majority of the corner kicks. I think he is fine. I was actually planning on plugging him in my build, but the more I'm thinking about it and looking at odds and looking that, you know, the bookies really don't like Ukraine to score here, it doesn't appear. It makes me really think that the route is not Malinowski and that maybe, you know, the route is doing like Larson or Tony Cruz. I'm gonna have to think on that, but I think Malinowski. I love Malinowski for Atalanta. You know, we've seen him be pretty good for Ukraine too. So I don't know. I'm gonna think on that. He's a really good play. Like if you take him in cash, like no problem. Shooter, set pieces, drops fouls, does everything you want. Yarmolenko has arguably been their best player of the whole tournament. Has looked awesome. You know, maybe he's trying to get a move from West Ham, maybe just trying to show out, but I think he's looked awesome. Yaremchuk, big striker. It's goal or bust. So, you know, goal or bust guy, I'm gonna pass. If Sinigov does start, there's a decent shot that he would take away from Malinowski and make Malinowski probably a much inferior play. But again, I don't think that's likely. Zinchenko's been playing well, but you know, in the matchup, I just don't see it. I think you go to Kimmich or you go Luke Shaw before you go to Zinchenko at defense. The fullbacks are fine, but neither one of them stand out. Neither one of them like a big crosser or anything like that. So, you know, don't feel like any of them are must plays. All right, let's go to core. I think we're done. So core, Emil Forsberg, set taking forward, Mason Mount, Monopoly sets, sub 8K, and Joshua Kimmich, 6,000 for a wingback that takes some sets. Like, I love the core. Like, those are just no-brainers for me. And moving on from there. So last thing, stunk to miss on prize picks today. Had the under on Vlasic shots that hit, went over on a low security total. Stunk as what right when Switzerland needed to push, they subbed him out. So just missed on that. But we'll be back tomorrow. PrizePick has not been posting their like final lines until like really close to kick, like an hour beforehand. So watch my Twitter. I forgot to drop it on YouTube, but if you follow me on Twitter at GatorGuy231, you will find a PrizePicks play at least 30 minutes before lock. And hopefully that will be a winner. If you do want to join PrizePicks, awesome site for Euros. We've been doing a ton of action. Use promo code FSI for 100% match up to $100. All right, that'll do it. Thank you all so much for watching. Just a quick reminder, like, subscribe, comment, really does help. Thank you all for watching once again. With that, I'll say, see you.